Here we are inside the Airstream with Mike Rosenberg, better known as Passenger.
Hello.
Thank you so much, Mike, for being here today.
Such a pleasure. Sorry for dragging you all in on a Saturday. Sorry about that.
I think we're all happy to be here. No. I know I am. And so, better known as Passenger, the band broke up, and you just thought it was easier to keep the name, or how'd that go down?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird story. So Passenger was a band originally several years ago, and we made a record together, and we did some touring, and for several different reasons, the band ended up breaking up, and I went solo, and I don't know why I kept the name. I guess I already had a small fan base, and I didn't want to confuse them by changing the name. And I also kind of thought that, there are so many male names to remember in music, so many male singer-songwriters, that I just kind of thought, well, keeping it as Passenger might just kind of separate it,
It does.
And
it's cool.
It gives it a bit of mystique, and it also confuses everybody, which is probably not so brilliant, but yeah.
Right. Do people call you Passenger sometimes?
They do, yeah. Which confuses me, and then everyone's confused. And it's a mess, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, this was really moving seeing you in this Airstream play those songs. I read somewhere that you are not afraid to, when you're going in bigger and bigger venues all the time. I read that you're not afraid to ask what you need from your audience. Like, you'll tell them to kind of, is that true or no?
I think because I play on my own, because it's just, a guitar and a vocal, I think the best gigs for me are where it's a really dynamic gig. So there are moments where it's super, super quiet, and it's Let Her Go or a ballad, and that's always best when the audience are really engaged and really quiet. But then there are other times where I really try and encourage people to sing and clap and get as drunk as possible, and just sort of be rowdy and with it. So I think I do ask quite a lot of the audience. They're a really sort of intrinsic part of making the gig amazing.
Yeah. Well, the music just takes you away too. Everything you play. It's the lyrics, it's the music, it's the performance, it's the whole package. Is there a song in particular that you play that gets you every time? Or is it songs, like what's really powerful to you that you play?
Yeah, I mean, it's different every night. One song can be really, really powerful, one gig, and then another one for the next. But there's a song called Riding to New York on my new record, which is about, it's quite a long story, but in brief, it's about this guy that I met, who was dying of lung cancer, and he decided to buy this motorbike and ride across America, and end up in New York with the kids and his grandkids, and live out the rest of his life with them. And it was just this incredible sort of snapshot into this guy's life, a total stranger, and I only talked to him for 10 minutes, but it was such a powerful conversation, and I wrote this song about him afterwards. And every night when I sing it, it kind of takes me back to that moment. And yeah,
well, that song that conversation with him had a bigger impact on your life, right? You quit smoking, or
right? Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of the longer aspect of the story. I was really struggling with trying to give up smoking, and I was actually on my way to buy a packet of cigarettes after I'd given up for a few months, and it was just the most insane timing, selfishly on my part, to meet this guy at that moment, just as I was about to, fold and start smoking again, to meet this guy and finally get like a bit of perspective on the whole smoking thing. And it was amazing. That song really moves me. I love it. I love the new album, Whispers. Thanks.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed listening to it. And I know you played Scare Away the Dark today, and I thought, oh good, I'm not going to cry, because I was afraid it would be writing in New York, but I still got very moved by Scare Away the Dark. Cool. Where did that song come from, writing that?
I just try and make people as miserable as possible with all of my songs. Scare Away the Dark's an interesting one. I wrote it in a car park in Germany. Weirdly enough, that sounds weirder than it was. But it was the morning after I'd played this festival, and I just have this image in my mind of looking out on this massive crowd and just seeing iPhones looking back at me, And so I think Scare Away the Dark was spurred on by that experience, and just the fact that 15,000 people come and stand in this field to feel something together, and humans have done that for thousands of years, to come together to make or listen to music. But now in the last few years, we've all got these little TV screens that we look through the whole time, and I think it kind of separates us off a little bit. And I don't know, it's not a new subject matter. I think a lot of people are talking about that's slightly worrying, you know, especially for this new generation coming up. The fact that they're so used to having these things out all the time. And I don't know, it's just a gentle reminder that sometimes we should put our phones down and actually enjoy planet Earth.
Yeah, well, you said it really well. And I love so many lines in that song, but one that stands out to me is drink ourselves stupid and work ourselves dead, because that's what Mom and Dad said. Did your mother and dad kind of...
They're not alcoholics or workaholics, no. They're lovely people. No.
They did. Well, I know you did a lot of street performance. You call it busking, right?
Yeah.
No one in Texas knows what that means, so street performing. So
I think you'd melt in Texas if you tried to play on the street.
We can go right over to 6th Street.
6th Street,
sure.
right, yeah. I remember coming here for South by Southwest years ago and seeing some brilliant buskers, yeah.
How do you feel when you see the buskers? Like, do you just your heart? Are you a big tipper? Like,
if they're good, then yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, you have a
definitely.
higher standard, right?
Well, you know, I think busking's a funny one because, I've been doing it for 5 or 6 years, and basically when the band broke up, I didn't have a record deal, I didn't have any money, I had no idea how to get my music to people, and playing on the street just turned into this thing where I could go to a town that I'd never been to before and play in the street for a couple of days, 3 days, and, you know, you're selling CDs, you're just slowly but surely... you sort of gather a fan base by doing that. But, you know, people have perceptions about busking. I think people expect street musicians to be bad and drunk and terrible. But there's some incredible talent on the streets, you know. There's brilliant people trying to break through in a cool way, in a way that doesn't require them to write songs in a certain way, doesn't require them to go on X Factor and look perfect and whatever. It's people who are just really passionate about music, trying to get it to people, you know. You
still get the itch to do it? You go out and...
We do it all the time.
Really?
Yeah, God,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Like, not so much this tour, because it's been so busy, but yeah, sort of the first half of this year.
Cool.
You know, we did a lot of busking, and it's something that I hope to do for the rest of my life, you know. It's a really honest way of getting your music to people, whether you're big and famous or not, you know. It's a lovely thing to be able to do.
I think that's super cool. So thank you so much for sitting down and talking with us today. We really appreciate it.